Hi guys, my name is Derek and this is Pacific Coast Auto. We are a Japanese-based auction agent and exporter, and today we're looking at what might be the most interesting vehicle we have ever bought from auction here in Japan and exported. And so this is a Nissan Figaro, and this one is going to be sent over to the USA. What's special about this one is it's a show car that was in Stance Nation and Mooney's shows here in Japan. Those are very famous Japanese car shows, like the biggest ones in Japan, and this one actually won an award at one of those shows. At least it's been featured on Speed Hunters, and as a special little present to the buyer of this car, I am trying to, it hasn't been settled yet, but it has been somewhat agreed to, that this vehicle, we're going to see if we can get some pictures from the photographer who featured this car on Speed Hunters. Don't want to be doing name drops, but if you go over to the Speed Hunters article, then you can see who it was. Want to get a signed photograph from him. So, something pretty interesting. This video is going to be a little bit longer than they typically are, just because there's so much to go over with this vehicle. So, contrary to the way that we typically do these videos, I'm going to go over the auction inspection sheet first. Here was the information that we had on the vehicle, and there's a lot that they missed in terms of excellent, cool stuff that the seller didn't even mention on here. So, let's go over it. It's a 1992 Figaro 1300cc engine, and if that sounds weird, it should. R grade, interior C, 149, 680 kilometers, 5-speed manual transmission. Another weird one, because these only ever came with automatics. As far as I know, and I tried to look it up, our stats say no manuals were ever made for the Figaro. 149, 680 kilometers, but that doesn't really matter because it has had an engine swap. Paint color changed to orange, and it's basically a show car, so they got a bunch of stuff here. Purchased from the owner of the vehicle, full repaint, Recaro seats in an aftermarket exhaust header, aftermarket steering wheel, aftermarket wheels, various other modifications to the car, CG13 engine swap, and so that comes from a Nissan March, from the next generation after the one that this vehicle is based on. The Figaro is based on a Nissan March, in case you didn't know that. Aftermarket carb, they're not telling the truth here. It's not carbs, it's fuel injection still, but it has individual throttle bodies. 5-speed manual, Motec computer, rear air suspension. What does this say? Speaker, tweeters, woofer in the car. Front adjustable coilover suspension, keyless entry, various other parts, so see in person for details. And in 2015 at Stance Nation, this vehicle had won an award. Okay, color change with uneven paint, and then here's what the report on the vehicle is. Front accident repaired. In fact, there's a dent on the front cross member that they mentioned. Interior modified and painted. Driver's seat has 5-centimeter rip and wear and sag. Wheels scratched. The front cross member dented. Look at the body here. We got a scuff on the bottom, and you'll see why in a second because it's super duper low. Windshield rock chip, nothing to worry about. And then some scratches on the back here. Basically a super clean body. It was just painted to be a show car. It has gorgeous paint on it. It's funny, the camera here doesn't capture the brilliance of the paint. It has, man, I don't even know where to start with this one. So it has a great orange color. It is much brighter in person than this camera is picking up. I don't know why that is, but if you take a look closely, there's all that metallic mica in it, and it is very, very shiny in the sun. We don't have sun right now because it's all behind the clouds. We're super overcast today. Okay, so first off, get the keys, because we usually have the engine running for this part, but it's going to be a longer video, so I'm not going to. Notice there's no door handles. They've been shaved, and so we have this for opening the doors. Pop it open. We're good to go. Now there is instructions on the dashboard there for what to do if your keys are inside the car and you close the door. That's why I left the windows open, because I can't read what that sign says. And start up the engine here just to show you that it works, and then I'm going to turn it off shortly after because it's really noisy. Those individual throttle bodies will definitely do it for you. So okay. So here's the Mooney's sticker. There's Stance Nation stickers on the inside too. Actually, there's one there. Stance Nation Japan, high performance, gear speed. Now I don't know which shop built this car. The Speed Hunters article didn't mention, as far as I read. So 1300cc instead of 1000cc turbo. Now, the typical engine in the Figaro puts out 76 horsepower. I think that this engine in the non-turbo form puts out around 76 horsepower as well. That's before the modifications. So what do we have? Very, very beautiful custom-made exhaust header. It's a twin cam engine. Very nice looking in this engine bay. Optima battery, oil catch tank, original radiator with some cool pinstriping on it. Shows you your pressure of your coolant system on top. That's neat. It's very ticky, probably because of fuel injectors are really noisy, and we don't have the typical induction system. This one is full quad individual throttle bodies, and this is awesome. Individual throttle bodies feel so good while driving. I have driven the vehicle and it is a blast to drive this. I'm going to do this just very lightly so that the neighbors don't call the police. And they probably will, because they've already called police on me twice for noisy cars. So that's why we're going to shut the engine off here. I'm expecting that this car is putting out somewhere in the range of about under 100 horsepower. Not too much under 100 horsepower is my guess. Whole engine bay has been painted in the same shiny metallic but gray. And off goes the engine. Now these are front wheel drive, and the front tires are completely bald. Okay, this has been modified. There's a duct in it, so let's have a look at that. Just going to close this. Not much else to say about the engine. There we go. And have a look at what the car looks like. So wow. Now, we featured this on our weekly auction picks video, and this is the first time that any of our customers actually have bought this car, and they have requested that we say not to the price on the vehicle, but I have to say I'm very satisfied with what this one ended up going for. Especially, like, the modifications alone are worth more than we paid for the entire car, and probably a famous shop put it together. Okay, so let's go front to back and see what we have. Front oil cooler, Nismo badge on the original grille with original bumper, and then the side spats there make it very low. Headlights are pretty amazing. Now usually this ring is chrome on the Figaro, so they've painted that. This is a glass headlight from another car. I don't know what car that it comes from because it's a little bit hard to tell, but the inside has been modified obviously with an angel eye in there, and then something from another headlight has been inserted in to be used. So quite a bit of work just for those headlights alone. And very cool that they're real glass, because I think that makes a difference. They won't fade, they won't turn yellow. Hood vent looks very cool. I think it gives the front a very purposeful look. It's hard to take a look at this car and then think of where the eyes are going to go first. I guess it is a Stance Nation car, so the suspension and the fitment to the tires is important. So here we have work wheels. When it was at Stance Nation, it had different wheels, but I believe that those were 17s as well. It is very, very low. And you can even lower it more. It's front adjustable suspension, rear air suspension, and the rear will go down until the tire hits the fender. Right here is up quite a bit more than it can go down to, and then extensions for the wheels in order to fit a bigger tire. Love the Figaro. Love the Figaro kind of Porsche RS type font there. Excellent. And yeah, work wheels, Euroline wheels. Pretty common for VIP vehicles, and then the orange accents on them I think suit the car really well. Okay, aftermarket mirrors. These have been modified. Those are your markers there. Door handles have been removed, obviously. It is an open top car, sort of. Has a fabric top and a plastic back window. Not one of those vinyl back windows. It's like a hard plastic one. And just really cool. It's kind of convertible, kind of not convertible. And we do have an extra rear spoiler on the top. I'm going to put up the top before the end of the video so that you can see that. Look at how much that back tire sticks out. You can see a good portion of the tread. Tires are 185, 35, 17, and so a fairly narrow tire. Now here's the thing about the car. I think that they've kind of ruined the drivability of the car to an extent with the size of the wheels. This engine should feel more powerful than it does, and because the wheels are so big around, the gearing is off a little bit. What that means is all you really need in this car is your first, second, third, fourth gear. Fifth gear, pretty much useless. I only got it up to third gear barely, but if you floor it in second gear, the gear is so long that you can go up to probably about 130 kilometers an hour in second gear, which is pretty insane. Bigger tires, I think that's the cause of it. I don't know which transmission that they would have used with this, but typically this car comes with a 12-inch wheel, not a 17-inch wheel. And of course the sidewall is bigger on the 12-inch wheels, but I think that your overall circumference of the tires on this is throwing out the gear ratio for the car. And so it doesn't feel peppy and quick, but it does rev well. The engine feels good, and so probably could be fixed by putting on some smaller wheels. Now, will you ruin the looks of a car like this by putting on smaller wheels? Well, that's really up to you. What I think would look great is a set of 13s with super stretched tires, push them out as far as you can go, and then still slam it low. You might have some clearance problems that way, but that's what the air suspension is for. And so speaking of the air suspension is in the glove box here, and the air suspension was originally on the back and on the front, and you can do it each four corner individually, so you can do one side up and the other side down if you want. I think the front one's broke, and that's why they put in the adjustable coilover suspension in the front. There is still a system for using it, and if you put your own air suspension struts in there, you could still use this as a full air suspension car. And I think that's really the way that you want to do it, because obviously you have zero clearance there on the front. In fact, we're going to have to raise this car up before we ship it. Speaking of fun things that the auction sheet didn't mention, we have endless calipers in there. Take a look. Yeah, that's a nice little treat to get. Cool. Okay, there's still a lot more to talk about in this car. Take a look at this. I think that the shop that made this car specializes in this sort of work. It's like a carbon fiber. I don't know what it is. It's sort of like a wrap, but sort of like real carbon fiber, and they've done it to the full interior. It's not just a vinyl wrap, it is actual fabric with resin, like real carbon fiber. And it's on there. It's on basically everything inside, so we might as well go in now. Now I have the keys in there, so I'm just going to push the button. To open the doors, it would be nice if the button were somewhere on the door card, but it's not. It's in the center console. A little bit weird, but it is what it is. Let's see. There we go. Okay, doors open nice and wide. And custom door cards, yeah, that suit the color of the car really well. And loads of speakers in this car. Look at that. And that's in each door card, and then there's a woofer in the back too, and tweeters in the A-pillars. Crossover-y stuff there to give you that good sound. I don't know how well it's being tuned, because there is no stereo head unit, and so we can't actually listen to anything we really badly wanted to. There's the aftermarket steering wheel, obviously very good shape. Love how the seats are not the same seat, but they still have the same matching pattern in them. And they go really well with those door cards. It may look a little bit overwhelming, but in a car that looks like this on the outside, you kind of want an interior that can match. Okay, so full dashboard is carbon fiber, I believe. I don't know. It's some sort of a woven fabric with resin. It looks exactly like carbon fiber, so if it isn't, I'd be surprised. But take a look, all of these bezels, and this one's a little bit loose. Carbon fiber. And I'm just going to call it that, so get used to it. Carbon fiber. Carbon fiber. The rings here are carbon fiber. Hey, these are carbon fiber, and it's everywhere. The glove box is weirdly a different color, but it's carbon fiber. head unit is gone. And we have these notes here of how to use such a weird car for the shippers. Obviously, they need some sort of information, and at the auction, they put those on. So we're going to keep, pardon me, let me rephrase that. The auction put those on. We're going to keep them on for this vehicle when it ships. The AC works. We have little labels on there for what everything means. I've translated those in the other video. Inside here is the air suspension controller. And so the one on the right is for the front, the one on the left is for the back, and then you can do them left and right with the different toggle switches there. And it's very cool. You can actually make the back pretty high. I'm going to turn it on. Sometimes the air compressor comes on when you turn the engine on, so don't know if it's going to come on, but let's raise that back end up just to show you. And see, that needle shows you how high your back is. Can you see the needle there? There's two needles. And so that way you can make sure that your left and right are even if your needles match. Now imagine this is capable on the front and the back. That would give you all the drivability in the world, no scrapies on the bumper. In fact, that bumper's in really good shape, so would be really, if this were my car, I'd definitely rewire the front. Now let's put it down to minimum. And give you another look at that, and man, that's crazy. Look at that. There's your Stance Nation, JDM, tight, hella flush, and all of that stuff. And it's still drivable. Very cool. So happy that we were able to buy this car. Capacitors, 2 of them, and a big amp. I didn't actually check to see what sort of amp this is or how many channels it has. Let's have a look. So 4 channels, it looks like 2 of them are being used, and then these 2 aren't even being used at all. And this board has been wrapped in vinyl. Okay, going back to the inside, Momo pedals, proper amount of pedals as well, little cup holders in there, and full console has been carboned, and it can still be used, so very cool. Okay, oil temp, oil pressure, water temp, and computer. I would really check the computer settings to see if you can't get a little bit more pep out of the engine. Okay, and a full leather or leather pretend dashboard, I don't know. Oh, just gonna raise the suspension up because I will have to park this car after. There we go. All right, behind the seats, usually these are 4-seaters. Weird to think, but there's usually a useless seat in the back. This one doesn't go forward, but you can kind of see what's behind there. You have a 12-inch woofer. You have all of your sound programmy things. What's that called? I don't know. I mean, I do know. I'm obviously not dumb. It's not coming to me at the moment. And another speaker back there. There's your air tank for the suspension. Another amp there. And there's the back. And look at this. Cool JDM stickers. Now that's only on this corner. But Stance Nation Japan 2015. I win. Cool. Alright, we're going to open the trunk here so that we can pull up the top. So trunk, how do we do that? Is that right? Now this trunk is a little bit weird. Of course it carries the roof in it, but there's double trunk. This bottom one I couldn't open. Don't know why, but usually you can open that bottom one only so you can use the trunk when the top is in there. Otherwise it's way easier to use this trunk. And it says you have to use this handle or you're gonna die. So you have to use that handle. Don't forget that, because it's written in Japanese, see? If you don't use the handle, you're gonna die. And no hands there. Okay. So put that up, and then from the inside you secure it. It's a little bit black here. It has a couple of places where it's been kind of stitch repaired, but it's generally pretty good and it doesn't leak and there's no smell inside. You get one cool spare SSR wheel. And then rear tower bar. There's another tower bar there in case you didn't see that. And then you have cool back lights here, as well as some of the wiring for the stereo is in the back. And then the trunk, this is funny, trunk is black, under the hood is gray, exterior is orange, and white on the inside of that. Kind of weird. Air suspension systems. Okay, gonna close the door here. Oh, hold on a second. Before I do that, I'm just gonna secure the roof. So open, and then simple, one push. Almost simple, there we go. And show you that headliner. So full vinyl red headliner there. And the floor carpet has been swapped with this fabric here. It's ripped there, but oh well. There's too much fun being had in this car. Obviously, the front tires are bald. So the car was built, car has had fun in, and then sold for a fraction of the cost that it was to build. Obviously, a lot of shops show cars like this to show what they're capable of doing for customers. And it's really cool to see a car like this at auction in Japan, capable to be bought and sent to the USA. I bet there's going to be nothing on the road in the US that is like this, not even close. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I rarely ever get past 20 minutes, so thanks to everyone who watched all the way to the end. What a unique vehicle. It's just amazing all the way around. Want one of these, and so happy I got a chance to see it, to buy it, and to export it. So thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Have a great day.